Hi there, my name is Clariel Alfaro, and in this video we are going to study an important aspect of linguistics known as syntax. But first of all, we need to know what is syntax. Well, the word syntax comes originally from Greek and literally means putting together, and it refers to the order or arrangement of words and phrases to form proper sentences. In other words, the structure of a language. And the most basic form of syntax is formed by the subject plus verb plus complement. For example, Clariel plays the guitar. And the syntax allowed us to understand that we wouldn't write like this. So, in syntax, we focus on the all and only criterion. It's when analyzing any language, we account for all grammatical correct structures and only those structures. In other words, we have to check that any proposed grammatical rule has to produce only correct structures. For example, to form a prepositional phrase, we put a preposition before a noun, like near London. However, if we apply this rule to all prepositions and nouns, we will produce incorrect phrases like near tree or with dog. Therefore, the rule can be fixed to say a prepositional phrase in English consists of a preposition followed by a noun phrase. So the reverse rule can produce well-formed structures like near tree, near the tree, and with the dog or with you. Then we have the generative grammar. It refers to the small infinite set of rules that are capable of producing a large and infinite number of well-formed structures. This type of grammar reveals two phenomena. Number one, how some sentences can appear different on the surface but they are actually closely related. Number two, how some sentences can appear similar on the surface but they are in fact different. Next to that, we have deep and surface structures, and for a better comprehension, we have an example with three sentences. Number one, you close the door. Number two, the door is closed by you. And number three, close the door. But how these three sentences are related to deep and surface structures? Well, the distinction between them is as different in their surface structure. That is, the different syntactic forms they have as individual English sentences. However, this superficial difference in form disguises the fact that the three sentences are closely related, even identical, at a less superficial level. The first sentence is active, the second is passive, and the last is imperative. However, if you take a look closely, you will find that those three are very closely related, even identical. They seem to be identical since they have the same underlying abstract representation, which is called deep structure. It is defined as an abstract level of structural organization in which all the elements determining structural interpretation are represented. On the other hand, talking about the structures, we need to take into consideration structural ambiguity. It refers to the potential of multiple interpretation for a piece of written or spoken language because of the way words or phrases are organized, or it results from a poor word choice. For example, the chicken is ready to eat. This sentence either means that the chicken is cooked and can be eaten, or the chicken is ready to be fed. So, when we are working on the syntax analysis, we use some symbols, and the most common symbols used in syntactic categories are these ones. N as noun, art as article, NADJ as adjective, V as verb, NP as noun phrase, VP as verb phrase. And they are used in something important called Tritogram, which is one of the most common ways to create a representation, a visual representation of syntactic structure. It captures the hierarchical organization of the underlying structures of phrases and sentences and shows clearly that there are different levels in the analysis. For example, we have this tritogram. We have to read it from up to down. So on the top we have a noun phrase that is formed by an article, a, and plus a noun, dog, and together form a phrase, a dog. Then we use a tritogram. We can think of it in two different ways. The number one, static representation of the structure of the sentences shown at the bottom of the diagram. Number two, dynamic format that represents a way of generating a very large number of other sentences with similar structures. So, phrase structures rules state that the structure of a phrase of a specific type will consist of one or more constituents in a particular order. Therefore, phrase structure rules generate structures, but in order to turn this structure into recognizable English, we also need lexical rules because they specify which words can be used when we rewrite constituents. On the other hand, we have recursion, and this concept mentions that grammar rules have to have the capacity to be applied more than once in generating a structure. For example, the gun was on the table near the window in the bedroom. In this case, we are repeating the rule of forming prepositional phrases. Also, grammar has to have the ability to put sentences inside other sentences. For example, John believed that Kathy knew that Mary helped George. So, we can say that recursion produces longer complex sentences. So, that's all for this video. It was a pleasure for me, and see you next time. Bye bye.